Hi, welcome to the Anxiety Doesn't Own Me podcast. My name is Emmanuel Isaacson, and I'm here to help you to heal your anxiety. On today's episode, what we will be discussing is how to stop being afraid of your anxiety symptoms. This is a hard thing to deal with whenever we experience these symptoms because some of them can be so intense that we sometimes end up in the ER. And it's justifiable that we end up in the ER because we believe and we think that something bad is actually happening to us, that we might be fainting or that we might have a heart attack or that we can't catch our breath, we're hyperventilating. We feel as if there is something wrong, there is something not right. And the reason why we are so afraid of these symptoms is because of what our mind is telling us, our anxiety is telling us to believe what these symptoms are actually what they are, but in reality, they are completely different. For example, whenever we have chest pains or heart palpitations, or for example, that we hyperventilate, doesn't mean that we're having a heart attack. It doesn't mean that we are not capable of breathing, that we can't bring in oxygen, or that we have a lump in our throat, that we have that feeling of lump in our throat, that there might be something in there. It is our anxiety telling us like, hey, there is something wrong. Because if we understand what the purpose of anxiety is, what its purpose is for its job is to protect you from danger. That is its job, and that's coming from the amygdala, and that's sending a signal to your sympathetic nervous system and saying, hey, there is danger over here. Kick in the fight and fight mode, and this what causes the chain reaction of all these symptoms. But again, if we go into the reason why we are afraid of having it is because our anxiety is telling us that these symptoms are dangerous. Now, what can we do in order to stop being afraid of these symptoms and finally break out of this prison that anxiety has put us in? How do we break out of that? The way we do it is, again, I always talk about this, is doing it step by step, of course, not taking too much and not expecting too much, but being where we are so that we can get to where we want to be. So what we want to do is change the perspective and look at it in a different way. We can change the perspective and say that, you know what? In a way, it's a good thing that my body is informing me of what is dangerous. So that means my mind and body is working accordingly. Now, of course, it's haywired. That's what's happening right now. Our amygdala and our sympathetic nervous system is haywired. And that is what's causing us a lot of anxiety and anxiety disorder. And we're constantly feeling all these symptoms. And having DPDR, a lot of us don't want to feel DPDR, and I can definitely understand that. And all the other symptoms, I can definitely understand. But DPDR was something that I went through that was very severe for a good 6 to 8 months. And I would be terrified. I didn't want to feel this way. I wanted to get out of this situation. I hated it. And especially feeling the panic attacks and the chest pains and the heart palpitations, going to the doctor, going to the ER. Just dealing with the entire thing was very difficult and it was very hard. So I definitely understand that. But at the same time, we also need to work towards getting to our goal of being anxiety free, being panic attack free, not being afraid of these symptoms. So what we could do is, again, we look at a perspective and say that, you know what, thank God that my amygdala is working properly. The only thing is right now it's just haywire. That's one way we can change our perspective. Another way we can calm down and be fine with these symptoms and not being afraid of them is starting to talk to our anxiety and say to our anxiety, like, you know what? Everything is fine. We are fine. These symptoms that I am experiencing are just anxiety. They are not life-threatening. Nothing bad will happen to me. I've experienced this before. I went to the ER if you have. I went to the doctor before if you have. And everything was fine. So too over here, what I'm experiencing is fine. I'm totally fine. There is nothing wrong. I know that it's very tense. And I know that it feels as if, keyword, feels as if that something bad is going to happen to you. But we have to stop the trick of the anxiety that is telling us, hey, what if this time it's different? And again, you see the anxiety is always trying to protect you. And what you need to say to the anxiety is speak to the anxiety, try not to pay attention to the symptoms, and just speak with the anxiety and say, you know what, we are safe. We are okay. Everything is fine. And you're going to see after a while, the symptoms start to calm down and they'll start going away. Another way to trick the anxiety is tell the anxiety, like let's say you are afraid of, you're thinking throughout the entire day, you're like, I don't want to feel this symptom. 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 That's all you're thinking about all day and you're trying to control it. When you're trying to control it, you're creating more anxiety. It doesn't really help. And when you're trying to say, I don't want to feel this symptom, I don't want to feel this symptom, I hope I don't feel this symptom, what's happening is that you're focusing on the symptom. That's what's happening. So you're hyper-focusing on that issue. And the reason why is because, again, you are trying to protect yourself. You are trying to feel safe. You're trying to feel good. And that makes perfect sense. But in order for us to not feel these symptoms, the anxiety symptoms, what we need to do is tell ourselves, it's fine if I do feel these symptoms. It is okay to feel these symptoms. It's fine. There's nothing wrong. I am safe. I want, and I know this sounds crazy, and I always say that. I know that it sounds nuts. How can I say I want, it's okay, I want, bring the symptom on? It sounds the complete opposite of what I want. But we have to understand the mechanism, what's happening behind right now whenever we're telling ourselves that. Number one, what you're telling your anxiety that is creating this symptom and is that is trying to protect you from these symptoms is that you're telling the anxiety like, hey, these symptoms aren't dangerous. It is fine. We are safe. That's what you're telling, number one, to your anxiety. Number two is that it will get your focus off these symptoms. That's what it will do because, again, whenever you're telling yourself, I don't want to feel the symptoms, I hope I don't feel these symptoms today, right? What you're doing over here is you're basically focusing on the symptoms. That's what's happening. What you want to do is get off the symptoms. You want to get off the focus onto something else. Now, whenever we focus on something else, what that does, that it helps us to automatically, number one, like I said before, tell our anxiety that there's nothing wrong over here, that we're safe. So the anxiety already knows, okay, hey, listen, these symptoms, there's nothing wrong with them. We are safe. And number two, what it does is that it takes your focus off these symptoms. And again, of course, try it with baby steps. Take it step by step every single day. Get towards your goal. And again, of course, you're going to have sometimes, some days that you're going to feel the symptom, even if you're not trying to focus on it or anything like that. It's going to happen, but don't get disappointed. Don't be hard on yourself. Give yourself compassion. Be kind with yourself and say, you know what? It is fine. It is okay. And a lot of us, we do have a hard time doing that because we are trying to not feel this anymore. And whenever you tell yourself, like, you know, it is fine that I am feeling this, it's fine that I'm going through it, what it does, it also helps you to calm down your anxiety and get you a step closer to overcome it because, again, you are not trying to push out the anxiety because the more you try to push out, the more you try to control it, the more the anxiety is going to control you. You have to let go of the control. Say, I'm going to take a step back and I am going to let go of this control. If you did like this episode, please click the like button and give a 5-star rating. It can help to reach more people. The more people that I reach, the more people that I can help because my goal in life is, my mission in life is to help as many people as possible to overcome their anxiety naturally. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.